and we ask that you please state your name and affiliation. We'll start with Eric Kane, and then we'll go to John from the Toronto Sun.
Hey, Josh, your week at the Senior Bowl, obviously productive. What areas do you think you grew with that week? And overall, how much do you think that benefited you throughout this process?
Just definitely being able to go and compete with, the best players in the country. There was a lot of great guys down there. Definitely a great experience for me to get my feet wet with a NFL offense. So just being able to show that I could grasp plays and concepts and schemes.
Hi, Josh. John Crick from the Toronto Sun here again. Last month, you told me your goal was to break the 4.5 second barrier in the 40. So are you still going to run the 40 tomorrow? And if so, have you refined your goal to a more specific, like 4.4 something time?
Can you repeat the first part of the question? Sorry.
Yeah, you said you want to break 4.5 in the 40. So do you have a specific goal more than that, like 4.42, 4.44, something like that?
No specific goals. Just I got ranges I want to be in. So I want to run anything in the 4.4s to no higher than a 4.53. So that's what I'm aiming for.
What have you been doing in practices?
Haven't timed for a while now, but I've been in those ranges. So we're all about to find out tomorrow.
Thanks, man.
We'll go to Dan Ralph for the Canadian Press, and then David Pascal.
Morning, Josh. Wanted to ask you what you thought about the process so far. I mean, we've talked a lot about this being a 3 or 4 month job interview. How have you dealt with the process, and how do you not get too high with the success and not get too low with whatever criticisms or things that you don't achieve that you want to?
Just keeping my head down and going to work every day. Training at XPE, I was surrounded by a lot of great coaches, Anquan Bolden, Tony Villani, Matt Gates, and just around a group of guys that were ready to work. In terms of just not getting ahead of myself, I've never really been that type of guy to let the outside media get to me. I always try to focus on things I can improve on. The success will speak for itself eventually. So, I just go into every day trying to learn something new and just embracing the whole experience.
Now, do you allow yourself to think about the NFL and playing in the NFL, or that happens after draft day?
Of course, I visualize it all the time. That's been a dream of mine since a young age. But right now, it's just taking one step at a time. And, this next step tomorrow is a pro day and attacking the pro day. After that, it'll be, getting ready for an NFL camp. So that's what I have to focus on.
Great. Thank you. Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
Josh, David Pascal down here in Chattanooga. Every year it seems like at the Senior Bowl, there are like a half dozen guys that do get a lot of attention all week. And as far as moving upward, and you were one of those guys, have you noticed kind of a increase in attention since the Senior Bowl as far as interest from teams?
I honestly wouldn't know because, everything started to happen around the same time. So it wasn't as if I was getting having meetings or not. The Senior Bowl was first and everything came after that. So I couldn't really tell you if I felt things, increase or not. It's just I've definitely been busy, especially meeting with teams. I met with all the teams, all 32 teams at the Senior Bowl. So that was quite the experience, just being able to talk to those guys.
Blake Topmeyer, then Gonzalo.
Yeah, Josh, I was wondering, when you talk with folks from NFL teams, what do they tell you they like about your game, and what areas, what feedback do you get about in terms of areas, for improvement as you move on to the pros?
All the same things, just, my ability to get defenders moving, being able to stop, just improving my game, just running after the catch, that transition from run after catch, blocking techniques, and really just becoming a better overall player, honestly. And that's also, I feel like I got to improve on too. Just small improvements that will create big changes in my game.
Gonzalo.
Hey, here, Gonzalo from Argentina. I want to ask you, who is your role model at the professional level, and what do you like to watch from them?
My favorite players would be Julio Jones and Devontae Adams. Julio Jones, really, I like to study how he comes off the ball, how he comes off screaming off the ball, how he's able to stop and transition in and out of cuts. Love the way he plays. And Devontae Adams, really, I love his releases, his route savviness, the way he gets defenders moving out their spot. So I study them a lot day in and day out.
David Ubben and Nick Hill.
Josh, obviously you don't control the end like you would in recruiting, but how does this process compare to the recruiting process?
I'd say it's the same. It's kind of the same, except I'm not making the decision at the end, like you said. The team is putting their trust in picking a player, picking a professional player that they want on their team and want to build. So in terms of the process, it's about the same. I feel like it's quite similar.
Josh, last year, two of your teammates, Juwan Jennings and Marquez Callaway, went through the same process and are now in the NFL themselves as receivers. Have you reached out to them at all for any advice and potentially for what to look forward to in your rookie season as a receiver in the NFL?
I talked to a lot of them, or two of them. I talked to both of them a lot last year, just seeing what it was like. And I got the same thing, just being in the playbook, just really understand what you're doing, what everybody else is doing, and just taking care of your body. It's a long season. You have to be able to sustain.
John Wilkerson and Matthias.
Josh, it's got to be really exciting to be going through this process. Trey Smith spoke to just a couple of moments where you think, goodness gracious, I'm now talking with teams that have either grown up watching or playing on Madden, different things like that. Did you have any moments for you like that as you started to talk to teams and have these conversations about moving to the next level?
Personally, no, I haven't. I never grew up having a favorite team. Just throughout college, I used to study players. So, sometimes I'll talk to the teams with the players that I study. And then when I speak to them, I'm just, if I happen to get drafted to that team, it's like, dang, I'm going to be able to actually work in person with the guy that I study on film all the time. So that's what I look forward to eventually.
Josh, Mateus from Time Out Brazil. Congratulations for going for the NFL draft. In the class of so many good receivers, how do you think that playing in the conference that you play in college, the strongest conference in the country, can help you on this transition? And any NFL team talk to you about play on the slot on the next level?
So what was the question? Sorry.
Playing in the conference that you play in college, and that's the strongest on the college football. How do you think that helped you on the transition for the NFL?
Yeah.
And if any team talked to you of being a slot receiver on the NFL?
Okay. So to answer your first question, definitely playing in the SEC will definitely help. There's a lot of great, talented players that I played against every week in and week out. And, that will definitely prepare me for the next level, just being around guys that are big, guys that can move, guys that can run just as fast as me, but are in the interior. So not saying I'm slow, but you know what I'm trying to say, guys with great talent and playing in the slot, I just have to be ready. I just have to be ready as a player to be anywhere. Coach T used to emphasize that, slots don't make it to the NFL, or wideouts don't make it to the NFL, receivers make it to the NFL. So I just have to be able to be expendable and go in and out whenever I have to.
Back to John with the Toronto Sun and then Patrick Brown.
Yeah, Josh, just in the last couple months, there's a lot of stories now being made on you and done on you in Canada. And I just wondered if any family and friends have started to, hit you up that haven't in a while, just with your rising kind of popularity in Canada now.
Nope. Nah, not really. Not really. Yeah. just my mom calls me way more because I have way more time now that I'm not in school. So I'm able to talk to her a lot more, my parents a lot more now that I'm not as busy. But no, nobody out of the blue, out of the ordinary.
Thanks.
Hey Josh, Patrick Brown with 24/7 Sports. Couple questions. First of all, where have you been training over these past few weeks? And second of all, you kind of talked about playing in the SEC and playing against good competition. I think 3 of your 4 touchdowns this past season were against Alabama and Georgia, and on those plays you were matched up against some guys that are probably going to go pretty high in the draft. Are you showing those plays to teams and saying, hey, I can go against some of the best DBs that are going to be in this class, or kind of how are you going about some of those plays you made last season?
When I explain them, I really just explain my process going into games, going into weeks, how I study defenders, how I have a plan during practices. At this point, just showing that I'm a pro, I'm a professional, just being able to read the defender and make plays when I have to. I work a lot to make those plays, and when they come, I can't say that I'm surprised that I made them because I worked so hard to make them. But now it's just being able to go and do it consistently on the next level.
Last 2 questions for Josh, Dan Ralph, then Matt Ray.
Josh, I'm wondering if there's anything you want to prove tomorrow that maybe we haven't seen or people haven't seen, but you want to show that there's an element about your game that maybe hasn't transpired very much this season?
No, nothing really tomorrow. Just regular drills. Obviously the 40, I want to show that I'm fast. Vertical jump, all those type of things that I definitely want to test well in. But everything I want to prove would be on the playing field.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Josh, you mentioned T a little bit ago. I was just wondering, have you had any conversations with him about, what the process is kind of like from his point of view now that he's with the Ravens? And have you been able to pick his brain on, what he would be looking for that could maybe help you along the way in the process?
I haven't spoken to him much. I think he's just letting me do me right now, letting me focus on pro day. But I did see him at the Senior Bowl. He came down to watch and show some love and support. So that was nice. That was probably the last time I spoke with him. I'll text him sometimes, just checking up on each other, but nothing really in terms of the next level or to really pick up my brain. I think right now he's letting me focus on the task at hand.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. We'll continue with Bryce Thompson shortly.
Thank you.